Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. Shore Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. This time we are going to be watching 2016's La La Land. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hi.
This one's really easy for me. I don't know much about this one.
I know two things about this movie, three things about this movie.
All right.
Number one, Ryan Gosling is in it. I believe it's Gosling.
I did know that, yeah. I know the two main actors.
I don't know the name of the lead female. I know she was the Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man series. That much I know.
Okay, Emma Stone.
Yes, that's the person's name.
Yeah.
Four things I know about this movie.
Okay.
I know they did a scene where they do the Dirty Dancing lift.
Okay.
And Emma Stone has a trauma with that from a childhood thing.
Okay.
And it ended with Ryan Gosling having a destroyed face from Emma Stone's nails.
Great. Okay. That's
that was on a television show, the Graham Norton show.
Oh, that's usually where that stuff comes from, is like Graham Norton being weird. Yeah.
And that was hilarious to know. I also know that this is widely considered to be a modern musical, quote unquote, masterpiece.
Okay. I remember people liking this. It felt like it came out of nowhere when it released, and like suddenly everybody's dancing, and like swing classes are having a revival, and everyone's watching La La Land. And I feel like, unlike a lot of other, like the two musicals we've covered so far in the season, I feel like those songs were inescapable, and I feel like I don't think I've heard any music from this one, which is maybe the strangest part of this one. So
the question is then, is they say musical in the original pieces kind of sense?
Like it's like orchestrated pieces as opposed to singing?
That, or is this like the Mamma Mia style of musical?
Your jukebox. Is that what they were called?
Yes.
Jukebox musicals?
I think that's what they're called. I
right.
think.
Someone go listen back to season 1 of this.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I guess that's the question of... I think Mamma Mia is famous because they're just using one artist. I don't know if there's what the version of musical in this one is. Which is, I think, part of the reason why I've been interested in it for this season is like, yeah, people seem to really love this movie, and it kind of caught like wildfire, and I know pretty much nothing. I know the two actors. I don't know anybody else who's in it. I don't know the director. I don't know who wrote the music. I don't know who put it out. Like, none of that stuff.
I'm pretty sure this was also a big award winner, if memory serves.
I feel like it was, yeah.
I think this was the Lord of the Rings Return of the King of its year, we'll say.
Right. The one that swept them all. Yeah.
How much I think I know?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All I know is I like Emma Stone. I think I have underappreciated her throughout her acting career.
I think in the States she really broke out in what was that comedy? The Judd Apatow comedy with McLovin in it. We are both having a bad day of remembering titles of things. I shouldn't have even brought it up. It is...
I know the one you're talking about. I genuinely do.
I know, I'm dying here. I don't even remember what it is. But that to me was the first kind of big breakout for her, at least.
Superbad.
Superbad, thank you. Good God. It's been all day. I can't escape it. But yeah, I feel like that was her big breakout role, maybe kind of for our generation. And I think she's been in a lot of other stuff that I haven't necessarily seen, at least recently. So
I will say one thing which I saw her in, which bangs, Cruella.
Oh, was she good in that?
She's really good in that. Like, really, really good in that.
Right.
I will say also, Disney, stop trying to make prequel movies to turn your villains into heroes, please.
We don't need any of that.
It doesn't need to happen. Like this could have been any other franchise other than 101 Dalmatians, and it would have been fine.
Right. Right.
Not all villains need justification.
Right.
Sometimes they're just villains.
They can just be bad. See episode 1 of this season.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I forgot she's in Zombieland. Totally forgot.
Yeah, I liked that first Zombieland movie. I haven't seen the. She's also in Easy A, which is a movie that I actually really like. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I have not. She's also in Popstar Never Stop Never Stoppin', which I have not seen either.
Did not know that. That's great.
She's uncredited, so it's not a big role apparently.
Yeah, Easy A is a retelling of the Scarlet Letter, which is really interesting, like a modern retelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had no idea she was Amanda in Sleeping Dogs. No idea at all.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that was a thing of like celebrity cameos hadn't really been a thing for a while, and they're like, yeah, we got Emma Stone as a dateable NPC, and everyone was like, sorry, what?
I'm pretty sure Saints Row's answer to that was we got Sasha Grey, which if you know that name, you know that name.
Yeah, don't Google it, please. Yeah. Anyways, La La Land.
Yes,
she's been in some good stuff. Yeah.
And the only thing I've really seen, what's his face, Ryan Gosling in, because he is one of those traditionally handsome actors who I basically have not seen anything that he's in.
Right.
So I know him as the guy from Blade Runner 2, which everybody hates because it's not Blade Runner 1, and people have a problem with that.
Fair enough.
And Drive, which if you haven't seen Drive, we need to have a conversation.
I have seen Drive. Yes.
Oh, thank
his breakout role was The Notebook, which I have not seen because everybody has a real hot opinion about The Notebook. I
haven't seen it either, dude.
I don't know if it's good or not. And I liked him in Crazy Stupid Love, which is a movie most people have not seen, and it's fine. Another Emma Stone movie.
Okay.
Which is actually pretty good.
Apparently he's in a lot with Emma Stone because Gangster Squad was on her list too, and apparently it's also on his list.
Gangster Squad. I forgot about that movie. Man. All right. BFFs in the movie world. Everybody's got to have a buddy.
Okay. Yeah. It's the Matt Damon and Ben Affleck of their generation.
That's right. That's right. Hanging out in all these movies. Yeah.
Do we need to put The Notebook on something, dude?
Yeah, we need to put The Notebook on something.
Right.
Another rom-com season, maybe just a romance season. I don't know. We'll find out in a future season. Tune into a future season.
Dude. Yeah. I had to click it, but you have to. I'm assuming you have IMDb open on one of your many, many windows.
Oh no, I have Wikipedia open right now, looking at Ryan Gosling's visage.
You need to pull open the 1998 television show Young Hercules for the funniest thing, which is the prequel to the not so nice Kevin Sorbo television show.
As far as Ryan Gosling in the title role. Oh my.
Did you see the cover photo for it?
No, I feel like I need to do a Google image search right now and hopefully my computer.
It is the most 1998 thing I've ever seen.
Oh, look at the hair, man. Look at young Hercules' hair. Goodness. The 90s. Wow. Anyways, we have fully taken a tangent on this episode.
We know nothing.
We know nothing.
Is the thing we have learned.
We will be back shortly knowing much more, or at least having seen the film. One of the two. I'm not sure.
And some dancing. Hopefully. Dancing and singing.
That's right. Hopefully. All right. Let's go watch the film.
Yep.
Welcome back. We're back. We've tap danced our way back after the film, back into or out of the
Oh,
theater? Question mark.
oh.
I don't know.
But it's okay.
Whatever.
The theater's closed now. It's fine.
That's right. It's true. Yeah, COVID even hit La La Land pretty hard.
Uh huh.
So we're back after watching the film. Film about Seb and Mia, which are like
Uh
the
huh.
most Hollywood movie names possible.
Uh-huh.
I I guess let's start here at the beginning. Um, you kind of start off with the traffic jam here and get to have a giant, huge dance number right
Uh-huh.
off the bat.
So before we do dive into the movie,
Sure,
can I get a vibe check,
vibe's
please?
bad, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank God. Oh, jeez. So, in other words, be prepared, folks, because we're about to dump all over this movie. This is the longest 2-hour movie I've ever sat through.
It says
Return of the King Extended Edition is shorter than this.
it's got nothing on this. It says it's 128 minutes, and man,
Oh.
about halfway through the movie, the splash came up and it said fall, and I was like, oh god.
Uh-huh. Around about an hour left, I had to go to the bathroom
Hmm.
and was like, I'm not holding this any longer. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah,
And then I hit the pause button, and it was like the tracking bar was halfway through, and I was just like,
like
oh no,
sweet baby Jesus.
oh no.
Yeah. So strap in for some
Oh,
spice here, peep. Uh,
uh-huh.
we start off with I think the dance number here at the beginning is actually fairly good. Um, I I think it's well choreographed. I think it looks cool. I think there's about a bajillion people on that string of highway, and I
Oh,
think that's
really?
Louise. Please, Louise has opinions about La La Land,
Apparently.
and I kind of wish we have more of that in this movie.
So this first song kind of set the tone for the whole movie for me, and I think it's meant to. I don't
Yeah,
know if what we're about to complain about is what the movie is supposed to be doing or not, but it is full of like big, bright, vibrant colors.
yeah,
It is like genuinely speaking a positive vibe, but then the story itself and the songs and everything else is just like, is this like meant to be like the painting over of how depressing LA is by
right,
the colors and the music? Because
right.
that first song is like, oh yeah, it's is the my literally my note is the moral of this song LA sucks, but at least it's sunny. Like that
It
is that
seems like it. Yeah,
the
like boy,
moral?
stuff is terrible here, but 72 and sunny is pretty all right, huh? It's like, sure,
Yeah.
I guess.
Mm.
I I think one of my larger problems with this movie, I think, rears its head nearly immediately. In that this movie is overly in love with a Hollywood that probably never existed, and
Uh-huh.
really pines for a California that probably never was. Um, and I think that level of romanticism, especially for old Hollywood, is something that turns me off pretty clearly and pretty quickly. Um,
Uh-huh.
and the level at which this movie is in love with that is a pretty big bummer. I think.
Yeah.
There are things
Like
to like in this film, which we'll cover here, but I
uh
think
I
as
like
a
I do
good,
like some of the performances. The lead two actors, their performances, I think, are actually
mm,
genuine, incredible performances.
I would agree with half of that.
Oh, are you gonna go with the Gosling or the Stone?
I liked Emma Stone more than Gosling. I don't think I like a lot of what Ryan Gosling is typically trying to do when he's playing like a regular guy character. Like he gets a little bit
Uh-huh.
of stuff here and there. Later when he's playing in that 80s cover band, he does some pretty good comedic work, but I
Yes.
think to me, I think Emma Stone's performance through most of the movie kind of blows him out of the water. I mean, like, I think it blows everybody out of the water. I think she kills it in this movie. Um,
Hmm.
but I think for me, for him, I was looking for like a little bit more potentially. Um, I we do. Um,
My God, this won 6 Oscars.
it really, you and I are going to be on the outs from pretty much everybody. We'll talk about the ratings for this movie when we get to the end here. But I am not going to be surprised if you and I are like, I didn't like it, and everybody else is like, it's the movie of the century. And it's like, okay, that's sure. So I mean, I had a budget of $30 million and made almost $450 at the box office. So you know,
Jeez.
we've
Okay.
never been a populist here. This is certainly not going to start.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm really not looking forward to our Oscar season. Like the
yeah,
best picture nominees, because unless you're counting last year, who cares?
right. Um, I do like that they Mia goes for the an audition, and the she's crying during this audition, and the casting director's like taking a call and on their phone, and someone's banging on the window, and
Hmm.
I kind of like that. Um, Mia's roommates drag her. Oh, good.
I will say the part I do like about the start of this movie, at the very least, is the car interaction and how that becomes a focal point later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, between Mia and Seb, how like she's rehearsing lines and doesn't go in traffic, and then he just lays on the horn and flips
Yep.
at the bird or shakes his head as he goes past.
Right.
Um,
I do
and
like that they come back to that later.
yeah, that's a nice little touch. I do like
Mm-hmm.
that. That being the rotation point for the start, but the top half of this movie is really, really good.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah. I like the idea behind this whole scene with Mia's roommates taking her out to this big Hollywood party. Like everybody getting
yeah,
dressed, everybody getting ready. Like I think this movie had a lot of promise at the beginning of kind of every big touchstone here. You got a whole bunch of people on screen singing. And like everybody's
yes,
wearing a different color dress and everybody's getting ready for the party. I'm like, all right, this feels like kind of like a classic musical song. Like everybody's getting ready
yes.
for the party. Let's go do it. Um,
Hmm. This is the old school Hollywood that they were so pining for
right,
at the start of the movie.
right.
Again, though, someone in that crowd, it's like, yes, make a connection, and one person can change your life. It's like, guys, this is just depressing.
Yeah,
Like the music is upbeat and chipper.
but the like
The
underlying promise
themes
of Hollywood.
is dark and depressing in so many different ways. And again, maybe that's the point. And if that is the
Right.
point, then I didn't like the point of this movie.
Yep. Um, so they have that whole thing. Mia gets her car towed, so she's walking home. Um,
In LA, in high heels and a really good looking blue dress in the
mhm.
middle of the night.
Also, if anyone's gonna watch this movie, note how many times Mia's character wears pants in this movie, and how many times people aren't wearing a suit. Like that's how much this movie is in love with old Hollywood. It's like, yeah, all these ladies are wearing dresses, and all the men are like wearing suits and ties, and that's where everyone goes for
Yes.
everything.
It feels like it's trying
Barf.
to harken to that 70s, 80s Hollywood era where it was the
Hmm.
biggest thing imaginable. And yeah,
Or
it's
or
set in modern day.
or kind of like the nuclear family stuff we talked about in the last episode with
Yes.
that sort of like
Better Homes and
dream
Gardens.
America.
Yes.
Yeah. So she walks into a restaurant. It seemed to be. It didn't seem to be a club, but where Seb is performing at the piano. Um,
Uh-huh.
I really like J.K. Simmons popping up here
Yep.
as his boss. Later
Uh-huh.
on, has a really good uh, really good line where Seb is like, "You can't fire me. It's Christmas," and he just spits out like, "Yeah, I noticed all the decorations. Good luck in the new year." It's just like
It's really good.
it's really good. um, and I like J.K. Simmons as this tired, like, I just need you to play Jingle Bells on this dumb piano for these dumb people. I know you're
And like
not. This isn't your
the,
dream.
the rinky-dink Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is pretty solid as well. Like I really like
Yep.
because it's like and parents out there don't take offense to this. It's like a kid's recital when they're in like fifth grade or something, where it's
Yeah.
like ting 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 ting
Right. And
ting
it's like,
ting ting ting
yay,
ting.
little Jimmy
It's
did
like,
it.
and the dude's got talent, man.
Right.
Also, I haven't researched this. I'm not going to bother researching this because the sooner I forget about this movie, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, at the end of season when this is dead last on
Burp, burp,
both of
burp.
our lists. Um, he like Ryan Gosling's really good on the piano because I'm not seeing cuts
Right.
around it. It looks like he's playing.
Yeah, if he didn't learn how to play this movie, I also meant to look this up, and I didn't because I don't care. If he didn't learn how to play piano for this movie or already knew how, this is like a triumph of editing that I can really get behind.
Uh-huh.
But this is the crux of this movie is both Mia and Seb are living lives that are not fulfilling their natural talents or their natural dreams. Like Mia is clearly a very good actor. She's just not getting the attention, the time, the roles,
Uh-huh.
whatever. Like, there's a really great. She's really going for that one role where she's that teacher. She's like, "No, you be tripping." Like
Uh-huh.
that's a pretty good
Did that
moment.
feel like a throwback to whatever the movie is, The Gangster's Paradise was part of?
Yeah, maybe. Um,
What was that movie called?
I think they were making fun of that sort of like white savior in a quote unquote inner city
Dangerous
school.
Minds.
Yeah. Yep. Um, so she tries to go up to him and say like, "Hey, your playing was really great," and he just leaves in the middle of her sentence, which
Hmm.
is a really great kind of like anti meet cute. If we're going to talk about last season's terminology.
Yeah, that
Um,
is true. Also, I watched this with company, and I said you've also got to keep into account he's just been fired. It
yep.
is Christmas,
Yep.
and on top of that, he can't pay his bills. So
Yeah.
this is which we learn about him later.
Yeah.
Um, and he's used to being in that room and nobody hearing him, period. Nobody
Mm,
hearing him talk, nobody hearing him play the piano, nobody hearing what he can do. He's just used to being a fly on the wall in that situation. So
right.
it's completely appropriate that he totally does not realize that she is talking to him.
Right. Just storms on out. Be like, "Yep. Well, this is. I'm gonna go to bed and try again tomorrow."
Uh-huh.
Um, they run into each other again later when she runs into him at a party. That's when he's in the like 1980s cover band. Um, a pretty great performance from her of singing "I Ran"
Yes,
in
I
front of him.
think is it the shoulder barge? Is that the bit where we get the flip over?
I believe so because I think we get the background with Seb of his sister breaks into his apartment and is hassling
AKA
him.
unlocks the door with the keys that she has.
Right. Which he's like, I don't know if I really like this about his character, but he's
He is
overly
obsessed, we'll say. He is,
yeah, obsessed with jazz stuff. Like he's upset that she's
yes.
sitting on a chair that some famous jazz performer sat on that he has in his dining room. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that works for me. Other
I
stuff, if
see.
his character is
I
fine, but
I like this aspect of his character because I. It's not to say Emma Stone's performance is bad. Emma Stone's performance is fantastic. I almost swore it right there. Um, that if you ever catch me going, that's
that's
me
right.
almost
Insert
swearing.
your own F word, kids.
Yes, her performance is fantastic, but I do appreciate the fact that his character develops and changes and grows as the movie goes on. Because
Oh,
he
sure.
starts as that obsessed person, which when we're dogs who talk about video games into a microphone. We know people like
Right.
that.
Right. Those are our
We
people.
are that in our own specific little way
Right.
about certain things.
Right.
I'm not even going to ask how many Destiny limited edition stuff that Boston has.
No
Boston,
comment.
you run a website about emblems.
We have a show about roguelikes. And
Yes,
that's it.
we are these people. The reason you don't like it is because you're looking into a mirror, Boston. That's why
Exactly.
you're not a fan of it.
I won't hear it. I won't respond to it. um, no, but that is a good point. I think both of the characters kind of continue to grow in their own way throughout the entirety of the movie, and I think that's a good point. I don't think I gave his character enough credit. Um, I think the thing that kind of bummed me out is when they meet at the party, they have some sort of level of attraction there, and they have the song about like wasting a lovely night together as they're trying to find her car.
Yes, what a lovely night. A lovely night, I think it's called. I literally
Mhm.
looked up and made the notes for this because I didn't want to look them up again. Yep, no, who knows? What a lovely view, I think it's called.
Right. And a little bit of a bummer that the movie like leans so much into hating modern LA. It's a pretty good visual gag of like, can you get my keys? It's a Prius and there's like 30 Prius keys there.
That is a great joke. I laughed
Hmm.
so much at that joke. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
because the Prius's biggest selling area is LA. You
For
know
sure.
it is.
Yeah.
Um,
As
and
someone who lives very close to LA, yes.
oh, it was a genuinely great moment when he looks at the thing and it's all the
Hmm.
Toyota keychains and he's just like, yeah, that's not helping me right now. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a good joke. I do like like this little sequence is great. How like it's a good song. It's based on that traditional, that they like each other, but they don't want to say they like each other kind of
Hmm.
relationship, which I'm a fan of. I also like anti-heroes, so sue me.
Yep.
Um, and I like I don't get me wrong, the tap is insane.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, there's only a couple of taps in here, but man, they're good.
Yes, and it was like, okay, this is something I can get behind. Tap
Hmm.
dancing, because you never see tap dancing anymore, and it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
we're leaning way more towards something great like Singing in the Rain. It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
all right.
It's really solid, like it's a really solid sequence. And then I do like the fact that at the end of the sequence, she does put the beeper to her chin
Yep.
and presses the button, which is a thing that works, by the way,
Yes.
with certain models of car.
By the by,
Um,
yes.
I do like the fact that he says, "Yeah, you get cancer, but you get to your destination quicker." So I
That's
suppose it
right.
all evens itself out in the end.
That's
It's a
right.
good line. That is a
Yep.
really, really good line. And I don't know about you, Boston, but I have done this before in
Mm.
my more pathetic days. He walks her to her car. She gets in her car and drives off, and he continues walking to his car. And when she's out of eye shot, he turns around and walks back to the party
Right.
because he's parked over the road. Because of course he is. He's in the band. He would be one of the first people there.
Right. Yeah, so he went like completely the opposite direction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I I do also want to give the movie a little bit of credit because I think more so than other scenes, I don't think we saw it in the intro scene. We saw it a little bit in like the getting ready for the party stuff. But this is where the movie really starts to lean into the kind of fantastical stuff during songs and
Mm-hmm.
during their kind of infatuation slash courtship with each other. And I think that stuff occasionally is pretty good. And I think peppering it in this song is pretty good. Um, but I think from like a cinematography standpoint, from a design standpoint, I think a lot of that stuff is pretty strong.
Yeah. It's just at this point the movie just hits a roadblock and then just doesn't inches itself over to the finish line.
Hmm.
Like, oh, can we just go? Is this a musical or is this a movie with music?
I don't know, man.
Because
Like
I think this is a movie with music.
I feel like this is probably I feel like we're getting a peek into potentially the great argument of another fandom. Like, what's the percentage of music in a movie, and how does that make it qualify? It's like us and roguelikes. So it's like, well, I mean, is
Mhm.
there a meta? Is there this? Is there? I don't know if it's a roguelike, and I feel like that's maybe opening Pandora's box for musicals of like, well, there's only 44.7% of this movie had music in it, so technically not. It has to be like 51% or more. I don't even
Mhm.
know, but
I
probably not.
don't think this is a musical.
Yeah,
I think this is a movie that has musical scenes.
yeah,
Um, but there's too many montages in this movie as well. It is what I'm saying. They're
yeah,
used well, but come on, like there's
yeah.
so many of them, and I get it. That's kind of also the point of like the audition montage is fantastic. Like that's a great thing.
Right.
When he shows up at the cafe on the Warner Brothers lot, which I'm sure they saved a lot of money by filming on the lot.
Yeah, I
Um,
wonder about that. I wonder how much it's just like, yeah, you just use the back lot.
uh like when he shows up there, that's a cute scene with the
Yeah.
woman being like, "Is this gluten free?" And
Hmm.
blah 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 blah. The relationships is fine, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the potential turning point for so many people is this next couple of scenes where, like you said, he comes to the back lot. She shows him around, kind of like behind the scenes of Hollywood. Um, he takes her to a jazz club and sort of tries to impress upon her why he loves jazz.
But why
Um,
does he take her there? It's because she says she hates jazz.
right, and he's doing the like quote unquote nice guy thing where it's like
Uh-huh.
you just don't understand. Like
Why do we
Yu-Gi-Oh
need to
is a
watch Fast
serious
and the
card
Furious,
game.
Boston?
That's
We need to
right.
watch Fast and the Furious because you don't understand how
That's
great those
right.
movies are, and you
Family.
didn't understand how great those movies are.
Hashtag family. And then of course he invites her to go see Rebel Without a Cause, which is just the most on the nose thing I think you potentially could. Um, she,
Hey Boston,
yeah,
hey Boston, I haven't seen it.
yeah, you're fine. Um, and she forgets that she has a date with her boyfriend. Um,
Uh huh.
that she then
Poor
walks.
Greg.
Right, he's being a real Greg, isn't he? Um, she walks out of it later because it's very much like a venture capital kind of like Silicon Valley sort of thing. Um, and
Quote, I don't want to go to Indonesia because it's less developed and it might not be safe. Is it safe? I don't know.
right,
Unquote. Like,
yeah.
get the F out
But
now.
I think that the part that I struggle with too with these scenes is it's very, as much of their love of Hollywood movies and like classic Hollywood is like a caricature of a bygone era. I feel like so much of this stuff about modern LA, which is terrible, is like an extreme caricature to the point where I'm like, come on, like I'm sure a lot of these VC dummies talk like this for real, but like
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm not defending venture capitalists, to be clear.
No,
Um,
venture capitalists can
yeah,
go away.
unless they have a
But
couple $1 million for these guys, then please
mhm.
tvgpfans@gmail.com. So they goes to the movie and like they're about to smooch. I actually kind of like this scene here where they're watching the movie and their hands are like slowly inching towards each other.
Yes,
I like
that is
that.
a good little moment.
Yeah, that feels like this kind of like high school sort of romance thing of like, ooh, can I? Are we into this? This okay, cool. This is great, yay! Um, the film burns up, and then of course, they go on a date to the Griffith Observatory because why won't they? Because this movie loves California. Whoopity doo. Um,
I'm assuming that's also near LA.
yeah, it's like the thing. It's like there's a big like forest and a thing. You see it in everything. Like once you see the
Well, we saw it
observatory,
in Rebel Without a Cause. We
right?
saw it.
Yeah, I mean you see it in literally everything that needs a couple of trees in LA. It's really the thing. Um, I This is where the movie kind of takes an interesting turn where the the two of them encourage each other to follow their dreams. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like Mia has a bunch of failed auditions, so Seb encourages her, like, "Hey, why don't you write that one woman play you've
Yep.
wanted to write?" And then he
She's
is
trying to encourage him to get into more playing, and it looks like he's doing guest spots at the jazz club. Like he's just
yeah,
coming up
he's
and
doing
playing a
like
song or two.
yeah. And then he like overhears a conversation between her and her mom, I
Mother.
think. Yeah, where
Yes.
she's like, I don't know how he's gonna do.
This is also what I refer to as the hopeful montage before we get that phone call, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, like things are going great. Um, Seb then runs into Keith, played by John Legend of all people. John Legend
Mhm.
playing guitar in this, which is extra weird. Um, and is like, hey man, we got a
So Keith
spot.
was the guy who screwed him, right? Oh, are we agreed on that?
I mean, I guess I don't. I never really knew because Seb never really seemed to want to get all the way into it. I guess that's what you're
Mhm.
supposed to infer, though.
Yep, that's what makes me think that he's the guy who screwed him.
Yeah. Um. So I think that's why Seb is pretty cool towards Keith. Keith's like, hey man, like you're really great. Do you want to come join our band, our jazz band? Um. And Seb is like, nah, man, I'm cool. And then later realizes,
The
hey,
phone
maybe
call.
I need to get money if I want to start a jazz club. So let's go join this band. I I think this scene is interesting where he's auditioning for the band and he has this very visceral reaction to the Korg kind of
And the electric
sampling.
guitars being getting added in there
Right,
too. But credit where it's due, he keeps playing. He
right,
does the hand up thing, and then he stops. He puts his hands down, and then he keeps playing.
right. And I like that even Keith is just like, you're a real pain, man. Like you're better than the last guy we had, but you're a
Hmm
real pain, dude.
And he nods
Um,
because he knows, and he said it himself. Like he says it to
right.
his sister, he says it to her, he says it to everybody who points out a flaw in him. He's like, "Yes, I'm an a-hole. I
And
admit
he's
I'm an
like
a-hole."
so married to being a traditionalist about jazz. You know, like Keith says later, like it's dying, man, and it's dying because of people like you. Like it doesn't, whether he's right or not. He is sort of driving to the heart of the issue of like, if you are going to be non-malleable, then you're going to break at some point, and these things you like are going to leave. Um, and in a way that seems very fast, the band that they have started gets very big very quickly. Um, and when Mia goes to see them perform, is is a much larger, much more kind of rock band fusiony deal than
Uh
expected.
huh.
Yeah.
And my note is he has groupies because the second he starts on that like synth piano,
Yep.
all of the women swarm the stage and like
Yep.
override Mia, like push her backwards, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. This is a pretty big band now. Um, we get the next couple of scenes of like, you're never home. How's where are you? Like Boise or something. Um, and he comes home to surprise her with kind of a romantic dinner. They get into a big blow
Mhm.
up because neither one of them are happy with the way that their dreams are playing out at the moment.
Spoiler alert, I'm with Gosling on this one
Mm,
because, and this is maybe grown up me talking, like wiped out after years and decades of frustrations and annoyances. Frequently, dreams don't come true.
yeah, especially not in
And
the way you expect.
yes, and frequently dreams change to be not as grandiose. Right now,
Right.
my dream involves flying back to England, seeing people who I care about over there, and then just settling down and having a life and free time and
Right.
things like that. Like, don't get me wrong, ideally, if we're talking dreams here, dream scenario, this becomes so big that we can do this as a full-time job.
Yep.
Probably not going to happen.
Probably not. It'd be nice.
It would be nice, but it's probably not going to happen.
Tell your rich
And I'm
friends.
fine with that.
Yep.
Yes, tell your rich friends. Patreon.com/E1M1. He's
Ones and
drinking,
others.
so I will. There we go. um, like, but at the same time, you also have to let reality sink in every now and again.
Yeah.
And sometimes reality is spending a Saturday doing garden chores and getting yourself sick with allergies
Right.
because that's the only day you have to do them, kind of thing. Like, I'm 100% with him on this because, yes, he seems to be having fun. He might not like the music, but he seems to be having fun with the performance side of it.
Right.
He's making money, a lot of money, based on
Seems like it.
it's
Yeah.
a grand a week minimum. You want to hire me for a grand a week minimum? I will do it.
I will do a
Yes,
lot of
please.
things for a grand a week.
Uh-huh. Like, and he gets a cut of the profits, the merchandise, the sales, and everything else.
It's a pretty good deal, man.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, okay, like, yes, he is not living his dream, but at the same time, and yes, he is away a lot, but guess what? He's making the money because from what I could tell, it looks like Emma Stone has kind of quit her job and is just focused on following her dream right now.
Yeah, because she like gives her
She hands in
apron.
her apron.
Yeah, and I think that was very much like the sign for. Not only did she quit her job, it seems like she's not really auditioning to anything. She's really just focusing on her one woman show.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm with him in this scene, I think. And don't get me wrong, she makes some very good points. And yes, you should still try and aim for and have dreams, but those dreams also need to evolve with the times and the situations that you are living in.
Right.
Like,
And like it's she's being a little bit unfair to herself too, because she's really putting herself out there with this chance she's taking, and it's the stress of it. But like you're trying to do a thing that has been your dream, and whether it succeeds or not, like at least you did it. At least you tried to do the thing.
yeah, it's the old question of like, would you rather take the shot and do it and not and fail and know you failed, or never take the shot and never know if you could have succeeded?
Exactly. So this kind of leads to them not really communicating for a while. That it eventually rolls around to the night of her premiere, and Seb forgot that there was a photo shoot that night, and seemingly a fairly important one, that would mean he wouldn't be able to go to the play. It of course turns into like the most stereotypical photo shoot that you can think of like biting the lip and the glasses and everything. And
it is worth mentioning as well. Anytime he's asked to play something, he plays the same piece of music where he first met her.
Right.
Like,
And
I think it's actually called their theme. But he always goes to that at some point.
Yeah, it's like he's always trying to record it. He's always trying to play it and improve on it and all that. And the play doesn't go... It seems like the play went okay. Nobody really attends. There's only like maybe her roommates there and one other person.
Yes.
Seb is...
And the piece of paper that says reserved is not sat on.
Right. And then when she's backstage, she hears some people talking yang about the play pretty openly. And when they run into each other outside the playhouse, she breaks up with him and is like, I'm leaving, man. Like, none of this went how it went. I'm embarrassed. This whole thing was a mess. We're done. Like, I'm done with this. You and I are done. I'm done. So she moves back home with her parents, and this is where we got Seb gets a phone call intended for Mia because they're trying to find her. It's like a famous casting director looking to
Yep.
audition her for an upcoming film. Um, he somehow realizes she's in Boulder City because it's like the house across the street from the library. Um,
Yes, it's a story she told about how she got into acting when they were talking about the part they were in the Warner Brothers lot.
mhm,
She asks her how she got into movies so much. It's like, yeah, my aunt was an actress, and we used to sit there and like go rent old movies from the library over the road, and then just
right,
watch them the whole time.
right.
So I do like the fact that he finds her by literally doing the same thing he always does, which is he parks in front and he just lays on that horn.
Uh huh. Um, and he he successfully convinces her to go back. Um, I I like the surprise in her face when she goes to the audition, and they're like, "Yeah, you're like the person, and here's the schedule. We're gonna audition for 3 months, and we're gonna shoot for 4, and we're gonna do all this. All you got to do is tell us a story." Um, and then she sings this story about a stage actress who died from alcoholism and like inspired her to chase her dreams of being an actor.
Hmm.
And in a really kind of surprising way, Seb is like, "You should go for it. Like you're gonna get it. You should go do it." And then it says like winter 5 years later. And I was like, "Oh, ooh,
Because
okay,
they basically agree to go their separate ways.
yeah,
Like they agree that like, look, like I'm gonna be on tour doing my thing, and if you're gonna get this is in the words of Eminem, this is your shot, this is your
that's right.
one opportunity. Like
You got
you
to go to
gotta
Paris. Of course, they put it in
yes.
Paris too. Come on, um, just like
Because if there's one thing classic Hollywood likes, it's
God,
Paris.
yeah, like the most romantic city in the world. That's where you're gonna go, of course. Ugh,
Hmm.
God.
But
Um,
yeah, so we get a time skip, and
yeah,
clearly Seb's opening a bar.
yeah,
Clearly it's a nice little like jazz bar, and I like that. I like the fact that he opens it. I also like the fact that he uses the logo that she designed for him. That's a nice
right.
little
A nice
reference.
touch. Yeah.
um and the thing that this movie does that I genuinely adore about this movie is she's married, she has a kid, whatever, they're
Well,
stuck in
I like
traffic,
it.
they go get meal.
I like that we got the callback to like the behind the scene. Here's a famous actor coming into the Warner Brothers backlot to get a coffee, and they want to pay for the coffee, and oh, it's her, shockingly, because the movie
Yes,
is huge. Her face is huge on these like the advertisements
the
all over
billboards,
town.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that, and like the fact that it's just bad traffic in LA,
Yep.
which they don't live in LA anymore because they're
Yep.
like, yeah, we'll see it in New York or whatever. It's like New York's traffic is much better.
It's
Come on.
yeah. Please.
Um, they are the same city on different sides of the continent. It's just
100%.
one is longer, one is taller.
Yeah.
Deal with
One
it.
gets snow and one doesn't.
Yes, it's not always sunny in New York. I can tell you that much. But I do like the fact that like they just randomly go into this bar
Yep.
after the meal because they're
Hmm.
about to get into the car and they hear the music. They go in and they like literally she realizes immediately whose it is, and
Yeah.
they go in, they sit down. He comes up to introduce the jazz players, which I like the fact that he's not forcing himself on every single performance. Like he's like, no,
Yeah.
these are the performers. He's too good on the piano, so I might have to fire him at some point
Yeah.
soon.
He'll own the place pretty soon. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
And then I like the fact that they have the eye contact, they have the smile. He sits down and plays that piece of music. And
Yep.
the thing that this movie does that's great is the what if sequence.
Yes, you and I think for the rest of this movie, I think you and I are probably going to be in 100% agreement. This what if
Yes.
sequence, real good. Like, this is what I want to see, this kind of dreamy montage musical kind of thing that came out of this, where this piece of music kind of grows and grows and morphs and kind of changes and then brings itself back to the kind of original piano piece and then back to the club. I think that's
Mhm. And like,
this life you could have had.
Yeah, and it shows them both. Like it shows them both doing. He goes and plays jazz in Paris, like
Right.
while she's making the movie. They have kids together, so on and so forth. It's a really solid sequence.
Hmm.
And then when it fades everything out, and it's just the end of that piano piece, and everybody's clapping, she gets up with her husband, like, yeah, we should go now. Let's head
Hmm.
home. And on the way out the door, she turns back and they catch each other's glances, basically. They catch each
Hmm.
other's eyes. They both give a little smile and they go their separate ways. Thank you for not giving me a happy, idyllic ending.
Yep.
Thank you.
As soon as that was done, I was like, when Stella got her groove back, this is the ending I wanted. This is the bittersweet thing I wanted.
Uh-huh.
Man. Yeah, and then like that's it. That's the credits. Like
Hmm.
they don't get back together, and
They lived out
they live in their own
their own
lives.
dreams.
Yeah, I really liked that. I think if you're gonna give me a movie like this, I want that kind of. If you're going to lean so much into the classic Hollywood, I think you give me that like bittersweet what if, like
Hmm.
star-crossed lovers that can't get together sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and but the only thing is in that what if, he doesn't get what he wants.
right,
He doesn't get the club because they walk into the club together after having dinner in exactly the same way.
right,
So she gets to live her dreams. He doesn't get to live his.
right. Yeah, yeah. I I really wanted to like this movie, and I can see why I think people like it because if you click with this kind of romance, or if you click with this kind of um, romance for a bygone era, I think you're going to click with this movie a lot. I don't think any of it played with me, and I think
Uh-huh.
like we were talking about at the beginning,
The
it's so
pacing is
long.
so long. Like the
Yeah,
pacing is so slow and so. Like, I don't have a problem with exposition. I love a good
yeah,
exposition. Give me people talking backwards and forwards, especially if it's written well, and I will adore it. But this, honestly, it felt like it was 2 hours that felt like five. Like,
and I wanted them to be together more because so much of this movie, sort of harkening back to last season with our romantic comedies season. If you're a new listener, please go listen to that season 19. It was very good. Um, I wanted to see their relationship kind of blossom and evolve, and so much of the time we got, they held hands, time skip a couple of weeks, now it's fall, now everything is
mhm.
totally different. Like that's the part of the romance that I want, because I don't know what this says about me. It makes the bittersweet ending hurt more if you
Mhm.
see more of that stuff when it's going well. So I don't know. I don't know. Like
Well, no, I mean the whole thing is the movie's trying to exit with a punch out, like a
right,
really solid punch out of, not in the punch out action style, more of a punch you in the gut and get out kind of
right.
thing.
Make them
Um,
cry. Get them out of there.
yeah, and it feels like it's let down by the fact that they're just the only real thing we tend to see between the two of them is conflicts. Like
Right,
we only get the positive sides in the montages.
right.
Um,
And
like
early on, we get a little bit of encouragement and stuff, but it's the standard kind of like, yeah, follow your dreams. Sure, we're
mhm,
starving artists, whatever. What do we have to lose? We don't have anything.
yep.
Yeah. So what's
I
your
don't know.
overall?
It is a perfectly average movie that I was not a fan of.
Yeah.
One one or two things are standout moments. Some of the character moments are really really good.
Hmm.
Some line delivery is fantastic.
Yep.
That what could have been montage is something that other movies need to learn from.
That's a real standout, I think.
Yeah. But other than that, like it was so slow. None of the music really hit. Like I
Yeah, I don't have
like
any of it stuck in my head. Like
no,
I've
which is
had
like
downtown, like that's
uh
been stuck in my head for the last couple weeks after the last movie, but
huh.
not
I've
this
still
one.
got the Phantom of the Opera theme stuck in my head, and that was
100%.
weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
it's
It's
a
a
bummer.
disappointing movie, and
Yeah,
uh, it was the awards on this thing are insane. 243 award wins and 297 nominations.
that's so much. Like I get it if you have this kind of romance for classic Hollywood musicals and stuff like that, but I just don't think it just didn't do it for me. And
Dude,
I yeah.
dude. Okay, 2016 in movies,
Mhm.
the year this came out. So, some things to mess with in this.
Okay.
Captain America: Civil War, the best Marvel movie. Period.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
Second best. Winter Soldier is
Okay. I got the two confused. I like Winter Soldier a lot, yeah.
Winter Soldier is the best, I think.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
I like Rogue One a lot. Screw the haters. Rogue One's great.
Rogue
Talk,
One is incredible.
talking about a movie with a no spoilers. Talk about a movie with a hell of an ending.
Uh-huh. Zootopia, which is
Love
better
it.
than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
A lot of people underrate that movie, and I
My
don't. I
my
don't
kid is
appreciate
watching it downstairs right now as we're recording, by the way.
that. Deadpool came out that year.
Okay. Sure.
We're not going to mention Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice until we cover it. Did we cover that one? Yes, we
We
did
did.
cover
Yeah,
that one, didn't
that was season 1 of the DCEU
we? Uh-huh.
movies.
And Suicide Squad came out that year too. By the way.
Okay, so a lot of critical misses classics here.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
But like some of this, like Moonlight came out.
Wow.
I haven't
Okay.
seen. It's meant to be fantastic.
Yep.
Manchester by the Sea is meant to be fantastic.
Hmm.
Arrival came out, which is meant to be
Oh
fantastic.
wow. Okay. That's a hell of a year for movies. Jeez.
And this
2016.
thing
Calm down.
got 247
Yeah, but like
like
how much of that
nominations.
is like Hollywood being in love with its own like whitewashed history?
It's everything in
Yeah.
Hollywood. Like that's all that Hollywood can think of is that.
Yeah.
Sing came out that year too, by the way.
Oh, Sing is great too. People don't give Sing enough credit. Now there's a musical. That's a jukebox musical, by the way.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
So
So
I think
doesn't that lady, the old blind one, isn't she singing System of a Down as she
Yes.
turns off the road and
Yes.
through the grass?
it's very good.
It's
Mhm.
such a good moment.
Yep. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer, kind of missed opportunity that didn't click with either one of us, which is, I am, in my own way, I am happy that it didn't click with both of us. It would have been interesting to hear if one of us is like, I love it, yeah, film of the year 2016, but it just didn't manage to do that. Let's talk about ratings, though. Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter out of 470 reviews is at a 91%. Audience score of over 50,000 people, 81%. IMDb, 612,000 people, rated an 8.0 out of 10. Letterboxd here, out of 83,000 people, at a solid 4.0 out of 5. So that's about, seeing all of the reception to this, that's about the ratings that I was kind of expecting. That like 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, kind of like I really liked it sort of rating.
Yeah, that is true. But
Much higher than I would be giving, probably.
this is a 2.5 out of 5, a 5 out of 10. Like at most.
Yeah, I'm
not lower, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, I'm right there in like the average kind of middle. Like it's fine. There's a lot in there that's cool. There's a lot of technically very cool things. I'm sure someone could come on here that knows about cinematography and direction and say, you know, this is a genius movie from that standpoint, and I would certainly appreciate that. But
So,
yeah,
minor thing here. If you are a fan of traditional cinema, traditional Hollywood, like the movie is,
right.
it's probably a dream for you because, like, dude, the trivia section for this movie is like 56 pages long. It's like, oh,
Oh, okay.
these dresses are based off these dresses from these famous movies.
Oh, sure.
And
This
this
move
outfit is based off this outfit,
right.
and so on and so forth. I was like, Jesus. Like, talk to me about Alien Day. Talk to me about LV-46,
That's right.
and then we've got a
That's
conversation.
right. Do you know what's in those eggs? It's terrible. Man.
It's tea bags. I have
That's right.
tea bag one upstairs.
Boy, so good. All right, well, that's La La Land. Sorry, La La Land. Something's got to be at the bottom of the list every season, and like last season, this one is a pretty easy one for both of us.
Yup.
Sorry. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.